we're here, Cairo Mafia. We really have the Mafia crew today. Of course, there's the Dom, Dr. Giuseppe.
Ciao,
Warren.
ciao, buonasera.
Buonasera. Yeah, evening, man. I know, it's late over there. And then, of course, me, Dr. Fred, and we have
The
another,
famous,
of course,
the
Italian
infamous.
guest, our sister from another mother. And finally, Dr. Pam, we
I
get
know
to
this.
hang out with you today. We tried a few times, and today's the magic day. So thanks
Today
for being
is a
with us.
magic day. Today is a magic day. I'm very grateful. Thank you for your patience. It's great to be
Yeah,
here.
and I hope you don't mind if I eat while we're doing this
Well,
podcast.
first, you have to tell
I'd
us
be insulted if you didn't, Fred, to be honest.
It's a long podcast.
what exactly are you having today? I mean, it better not be something gross.
Got a little bit of basil, some pine nuts in there, some olive oil.
All right, I like it. Okay,
All good.
but I am upset that you didn't bring enough for everyone. Like, if you'd been an amazing podcast host, my doorbell would have rang, and I would have the exact meal that you're eating at the same time.
Hey, I'm going to transfer it with AI over there.
Right?
AI can do that. You press the button.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
It serves you breakfast.
But what we need, okay, if we are really taking advantage of the mafia situation that we're in, Joe Borio would go do his cooking with Dr. Joe. You know, you do your video, make something awesome, deliver it to our door, and then we roll into the next podcast.
Absolutely.
That is something that is not a bad idea. When I'm back in the States,
take two.
That could happen.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that.
Please
do. Because now he's cooking with you know, his fresh olive oil, and every dish you make has olives in it off your olive farm.
Every dish we have has olive oil. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally have this, gallon jug, right? So we got this gallon jug and we get here, and you don't realize how much oil you go through, because it's so good and you're putting on it everything. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God. So then I have the reserve, I have the cans of the reserve down there, and you're just like, you want to take it. And then part of you is like, I don't know. Do I want to go through another jug of oil? It's kind of freaky. It's crazy. What I love, my favorite thing I've ever had in my life, and I'm a little bit of a sweet tooth, is what they call figgy mealie, which is the honey of figs. So you take figs, kind of like maple syrup, you boil them in water. We're doing a video for the cooking show on it, and you cook them in water. And then you cook it down so it covers like the back of a spoon, but in a big vat. Then you strain it, and then you let it cool. And it's like the consistency of maple syrup, but it's the most intense fig. Oh,
I love figs.
So do you serve that on
I haven't found anything it doesn't go good on.
Right. Okay, so you put it on top of... Right. Do you put it on top of ice cream? Do you put it in
everything?
Everything.
Fish. You can't believe how good figs go with fish. Here they put figs with fish. It's so freaking phenomenal. But I'm like one of those old ladies. I bring a little jar with me when I go out to the restaurant. I put it on pizza. It's like,
I've been saying that for years, Joe, that you're just like one of those little old ladies. It's nice to hear you're on board with it now.
Yes, I have no problem with that. I have no problem at all. If they're having figs, I got no problem with it.
Why don't you send us some of that figgy pudding? How about that? Why don't you send us some of that figgy pudding that you're making?
Okay, I could do that.
So basically, you just sit there with a bottle of oil, take a swig of your olive oil and a spoonful of figs, and then there you go. I'm good for an hour.
Basically, he's got everybody brushing their teeth with the olive oil, cleaning up, whatever it takes.
Yeah, I have a woman that buys her olive oil. I'm not kidding you, and that's all she does. She just wipes it on her skin. It's crazy. So
it's crazy.
I know that leaves you open, and I set you up for a couple of liners and you didn't say anything, but she does. That's what she does. And we ran out this year. We sold out. So she messages me like every month, did you get any in? Did you get any in? I go, we didn't get any. We won't have any till November.
You're like, I'm stomping the olives as we speak.
Yeah, we're out, man. They're out. The trees are making it as we speak right now, but they're done. So.
I was impressed when I went. I mean, since we're talking about nothing endlessly, I was impressed when I was. Wait a minute.
Hey, this is the most important part.
Talking about fucking figs.
Wait a minute.
Hey, come on.
The figgy pudding. Yeah, I was impressed when I was in Italy. I had a new reverence for olive oil, and especially my dear friend Joe Borio, who is the Shah, right? The oil Shah of Upper New York. But yeah, I was impressed by how many olives it takes to make olive oil.
Yeah, you get about average tree, you get about 15 to 20 liters
Hmm.
of oil from a tree. But I'm telling you, man, it is when I bought the property over here, the house was a wreck, but we had olive trees. So the guy said it'll take about 2 or 3 years. You got to cut trees, let them grow, they'll start making. I said, okay, great. So we started doing that. So the first year, the guy was Mimo, and he says, hey, listen, we got a good year. So I come out for November for the harvest. And the amount of work, I'm over there romanticizing. Oh my God, it's going to be great. We're looking at the Adriatic Sea. We're going to pick olives. We're going to bring them to the mill. It's going to be great. 4 hours later, you're on the freaking tree. You're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever.
They showed that, like, it reminded me, the machine that they showed us reminded me of like when you make homemade applesauce and you gotta push all the seeds through.
The grinders,
it reminded me of that. And I'm half Amish, so I was like, I can churn it, I can do it. But it's impressed.
They strap you up with a bit in the mouth and the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. I get the little hat and
walk in the circle where he is. That what was evident. Yeah. Nowadays we have the new mill here, so they do everything high tech, which gives you much better oil. And so they put it in a musher, a pulverizer, kind of like a food processor essentially. And it did everything, the olive, a few of the leaves, which give it some color. And then they create a mush. Then you paddle it at about 84 degrees for optimum release. And then you centrifuge. They take the pulp, put it in the centrifuge, spin it out, and then you get extra virgin out. And then the pulp, they make fertilizer. You take that back to the farm and you use that. So nothing's wasted. It's pretty amazing.
Dude, you can take that pulp and put it on your toast.
I'm going to put it on my arms.
It's very bitter. It's very, very bitter. Unless you salt it and work the acid out, it's really, really bitter. So.
Because you already tried it in that machine,
it's kind of like vanilla. Vanilla, when you have the extract, you're like, oh my God, this is going to taste so great, and then you taste it and it's terrible. It's the same thing. So
I'm just imagining.
Kind of like oil of oregano, man. When you put that on your tongue, it burns so bad. You know why it kills all the viruses.
Right.
Well, Pam, I'm sorry. Were you trying to say something? I'm sorry. Fred and I were going.
It's like hanging out at my family house. You got to be loud. You got to get it in there. Otherwise you're out.
We start off loud and then we get quiet. So, all right. That being said, Pam Jarboe, a dear friend, somebody I definitely wanted to have on our podcast here. And, Pam, I met her at Berkshire's a number of years ago. So I gotta say it's got to be 12 years ago. And it was the first time I met her, and she had spoken, and then she had gone outside, and I wanted to tell her how much I enjoyed her talk, presentation, and her share, and which was great. So I ended up meeting her and talking to her there, and then and just somebody that you love just to be around. She's got a great presence, great energy, unbelievable amount of intelligence and value. She coaches docs, she coaches CA, she coaches teams. And then she does brand. She worked with our Chiropractic Consulting brand marketing. She did a lot of that, which was absolutely fantastic. One of the favorite speakers. I mean, really, anywhere she goes, everybody wants to have her on stage, rightly so. It's just a great presence and a great share and great information that you can plug into your practice pretty much immediately. She's a practicing chiropractor. Still phenomenal doctor, and so we're really honored to have her on here, not only because she's my friend and I love her dearly, but also because she's got great value to share. So Pam, I can't lay it up any better than that, and I probably left half the great stuff out.
It's all teed up.
Oh, thank you very much, Joe. That's a very lovely introduction. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I loved that event that we were at, and I loved meeting you, and it was a really special time. So thank you.
Yeah, it was nice. Yes. Every time we get to spend some time. We were in London and we had a nice night there. That was fantastic.
At the UCA,
really
right.
Nice. Yeah. And then we went
to so I want to know where you got your principal.
My principal?
Yeah.
Oh,
where'd you go to school? How'd you become a chiropractor? How'd you get your principal?
Yeah.
It's tough to understand Fred with food in his mouth.
So I know, he's like,
I can interpret. I know what he's saying. So go ahead.
Yeah.
So how did you become a chiropractor?
You're allowed to talk with food in your mouth. That's normal.
Okay, so I'm going to try and put on my serious face.
Won't
But
last.
it won't last long. I found out about chiropractic in 1986. I ended up working for a chiropractor by some great accident. I remember he had a sign up on the wall and it said, you know, chiropractic is designed to unite man the physical and man the spiritual. And that just really struck me.
Wow.
Like really struck me as a young person. I had always related to myself spiritually, but like really didn't love the whole idea of being here on the planet, which might be opposite of many chiropractors. But I didn't see it in practice. The guy was chaotic and going through all this stuff, and he didn't really, I think he didn't live the principles, but he loved them. He brought me to Markson, and you know, so I went to Markson Management and Unity Church, and he just brought me to all these things and was always introducing me to new information, which I was really grateful for and I needed very much at that time. I feel like it was a lifeline for me. I started going to see Donnie Epstein in his office in Long Island. And then I had a visceral experience where it wasn't like a lot of people, if you don't know Donnie Epstein, he's the developer of network spinal analysis. And sometimes it's a very, I don't know, celestial experience, I'll say, for people. I don't know what words to use, but for me, it was very visceral. You know, when Donnie adjusts, you know, one of the things he used to teach was about adverse mechanical cord tension, or just this idea of unwinding the cord, a tonal technique that worked for me. You know, it was just a lucky thing that I happened to experience it because I took my first breath. I feel like I just felt ease for the first time. It was okay to be in my body. So I had my first in-body experience where I think a lot of people in network are heading out. I was like, whoa, this is good. You know, it's nice to
Good to
just
be back.
good to be home inside my own self, right? Yeah. So anyway, so I really learned a lot about, you know, the nervous system at that point, and went off to chiropractic school. I went to Life University, and I used to go to DE, and I really was lucky. I had teachers like Arnaud Bernier. I went to New Beginnings. As a student, my chiropractor went there, so I regularly was driving up to New Beginnings from Georgia. So I was really lucky. And when I graduated from chiropractic school, I ended up becoming really great friends with Dr. Peter Kevorkian and Dr. Patty Giuliano. And so, you know, I was doing MACP philosophy nights, and we were digging into the principles there, and, you know, just really figuring out how to live the principles, not just put them up on a, you know, in a frame and then do everything the opposite. And I'm not saying like it's perfect, but it's such a guiding force in my life. I'm very grateful to have chiropractic philosophy that I get to move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
you know,
spiritual principle
for sure, you know.
and a universal law.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Cool. So
And
then
what, Pam?
And then what?
Sorry. Then what?
And then what? After I graduated from chiropractic school, you mean, or?
Yeah, so you got the principal, and then you're okay. Now you got a kind of a direction. You kind of, you know, I
Yeah.
always call it the, you know, finding the wand, you know, from Harry Potter. Like everyone,
Yeah,
you know, kind of really put so
exactly.
much weight into it, and
Totally
then once you
great.
find the wand, then it's easy, you know. So
Yeah, you know, that's a great, great thing to say to a brand new chiropractor. They are trying to find their wands. And
you can use
I
that.
was,
It's mine, but you can use it if you
I'm
want.
totally gonna borrow that.
Yeah.
I'm putting that in my back pocket.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
So I
got a
definitely
TM
want
on the end of it.
say it again.
It's got a TM on the end of it.
Yeah.
Joe Borio's TM.
Yeah, oh,
one-liner.
everything's got it. Joe Burr is like, hey, nice to meet you, TM.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
I'm Coach Borio.
Better than
TM.
crooked. TM.
Anyway, yeah, I think it did take me a little while to find my wand, so to speak. I kind of struggled in practice because for me, I revered the adjustment. It really changed my brain, you know. So one of the things when I first spoke, and you know, Joe, you heard this story, was just this feeling where most of my life I had just been like, oh darn, like I would wake up and feel like, oh darn, I'm still here. It's so sad to say, I don't feel that way anymore, but I did. I just had this heaviness, you know. There's a lot of heaviness in the family that I grew up in. And so I remember like going for a hike 5 years after I'd been getting adjusted. And I was in, you know, out in the woods, and I was like, God, it's just so great to be alive. And then I was like, well, who said that? Like, where'd that come from? And I really got to see like, wow, this had a tremendous impact on my brain. You know, it was really changing my brain and how I was living in the world, but that it took consistency and repetition. And so for me, that's time has always been a really important principle to abide by. I knew that that's what I needed personally, and I know many of my people that I take care of have the same thing. But to find my way in practice, I kind of floundered. I was like a turtle on my back, just try. I really wanted to get that adjustment right. I wanted to make sure that I was really good at my craft. And it probably took me about 5 to 10 years to really feel confident about that. I think I might have met Joe at that point. And then I started really being brave enough to communicate it. And I'm so grateful, you know, Joe, to you for that, for helping me to find a way to just say the truth. And Joe used to, I think I started saying this about you. You didn't say it, but you were talking this one time at a seminar in your office, and you were talking about being a fighter and how you got punched in the face. And I was like, oh, like, I don't think I've ever been willing to let somebody punch me in the face. Like, I just got to be willing to get punched in the face. And I had a lot of women coaching clients and be like, here's the thing. You just got to be willing to be punched in the face. I'd be like,
Nice.
oh, like, trust me.
Yeah.
And then I'd see one of my associates was walking down the hall, and she'd look at me and she goes, I just got punched in the face. I'm like, high five. All right, you did it. You got it over with. Once it's over with, it's fine.
Yes.
So anyway, learning to communicate and then, you know, create a business and take myself seriously. That was my next chapter. That was the wand that I needed to find. And, you know, I still continue to grow in that department. I think I grew up like Mother Teresa. Like, I just wanted to help everybody. You know, I don't care if you pay or you don't pay, just go face down. Please stop talking to me and let me do my thing. And, you know, I'm teasing about that, but I do think that happens to a lot of new practitioners. Our passion sometimes distorts our reality, and how it's actually really important to create care plans and be a business person and be paid for it, because people will respect themselves and you and the adjustment and the process. And
Well,
you
I think
and
that's a general issue across the profession, obviously not with anybody, and this is a generalization, right? I mean, and that's the thing with healers, you know, chiropractic is a hands-on healing art.
yeah,
And so you get these people that are, you know, the chiropractors and they're healers. You can be very principled, and you could think the adjustment is the most valuable thing, but people have problems asking for money. I mean, I run into it all the time. We train them, you know, and I work with a lot of CBP docs, so it's a rehab system, man. So this isn't a $50, $60 adjustment.
right.
This is anywhere, you know, on the low end, $80 to $150 an adjustment that people are paying for 80 adjustments cash. That's $10,000.
Right. So you have to own the value of that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you gotta, exactly. And you know, that's the thing is, you know, and it wasn't until I got into a rehab system that and started seeing, you know, one thing, the adjustment alone, man, is powerful. And then you start changing curves. Oh my God, man. You know, it's not like jump starting a battery, man. It's like you freaking got a high voltage machine. And then the things that started getting better were just, I mean, it took the healing to a whole new level. And then it's like, yeah, if you pay $20,000 to get your family healthy, you know, it's like an MD can't do it for 20 million.
Right.
And people know that in their head, but $20,000 is nothing. Like, we have people getting family plans for $22,000 to $26,000 prepays. People will pay when they understand that investment is the health for the rest of their life.
Right.
Or the first step. They'll pay.
It's a depth of value.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's a lot to own that. I think, you know, for some younger practitioners, like now that I've done it for so long, I see the benefit and the invisible effects of what people are not getting as a result of getting this care, you know, and I don't have a thing about it anymore, but I help people who have a thing. You know, to me, it's an investment, it's a choice. Might not be what everybody wants to invest in, but gosh knows there's plenty of people who need our care. You know, I was looking, there's 100,000 chiropractors in the world. I saw that number recently. That's it.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
know
looked
most
this
of
up.
them are in this country.
Well, think about that.
I think we have 70.
Maybe half of them are actually adjusting like that. I don't know what that number is, but
Right.
that's shocking when you think about there's so many people who need our help and there are not that many of us. So it's
Right.
kind of no brainer. Like, why get tied up by the people who don't want to pay or the people who want to argue or maybe not get it? You don't need that many people in your area that take you seriously and take themselves seriously in the care. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
time for us to just own it. I would
And
say.
don't put yourself there. You know, we were talking
Yes,
politics a little bit, not to go down the road of a political polarization, but if I'm leaning one way versus the other, I don't want to go, you know, if I'm a hardcore Republican, I don't want to go to a hardcore Democrat rally and then walk out of there, one, expecting I'm going to be welcomed, and then two, get upset and beat myself up because nobody came in to come in for a checkup. You know what I mean? I
right.
mean, so it's we also want to let's make it easy. You know, if I want to plant tomatoes, I want to plant tomato seeds, right? I don't want to be surprised at what comes up. So I
Right.
want to be strategic in who I talk to, where I go have a talk,
Exactly.
where am I going to go do a screening or whatever anyone loves to do, right? If I like to do screening, it's great. If you like to do lunch and learn, great. You know, you don't have to do one thing. If one thing works for a doc, you figure out what your superpower is, your strength is, and then you go put yourself in front of those people. But let's also be strategic too, because I'm going to have a better use of my time. And I'm going to feel better about what I do myself because I'm going to get a better feed from the crowd. So,
Well, you know, what you're saying, in my opinion, leads someone to branding because not
right,
all good patients are good patients, and you
right,
have limited amounts of resources as a
correct,
chiropractor when it comes to marketing. And so it's smart to create a really strong brand and message and know where you want to bring that message and who you want to bring it to, because you're going to have a much easier time to own your also financial, you know, sovereignty, because you won't be in front of people who are from the Boys and Girls Club that don't have money. You won't be doing
right.
things that people, you know, who would never choose you they're not going to be the ones that are in front of you. So when you're smart about that part, I think you actually help the chiropractor. Let's say as coaches, if we help people to know their brand and their marketing, we actually make it so much easier for them to own their financial sovereignty because they end up doing much better because they're in front of the audience that wants to say yes.
Correct.
Like I
Well,
think
and
about it like if you're not willing to get punched in the face and you have 100 new patients that say no to you, now all of a sudden you're afraid to put a care plan. You're afraid to do the next step. Now
Totally.
you're
And
building a
then you
muscle.
just feel weak and you feel small and you feel depressed and then you get apathetic and then you're like,
Yeah,
Jesus, I'm willing to do anything just to pay the bills. So I'll do this and that.
right,
And then you almost
right,
resent the other doc who's doing what, let's say, you want to do or you love to do. And you're like, oh, they must be doing this or they must be doing
right.
that. All of
Exactly.
a sudden, and it's just
Right.
unhealthy for us as a profession to go down that road. And that unfortunately is a place that we are a lot. We lost Pam.
yeah. Well, and I would say, as we get older, we're building a practice. Yeah, we did screenings. Yeah, we did talks. Yeah, you do that. And hey, if you talk to 100 people and you get 100 no's, we'd be pissed. We might be down on ourselves. But what
Yeah.
did you and I do? And people that are purpose driven, you realize I need to change my messaging.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what it is I didn't adapt my message to the 100 people I stood in front of. And then after a while, this took me 11 years to figure out. But, then when you learn that how to get family members, when you learn how to create a patient and your practice has an 80 or 100 plus PVA, then you don't need any marketing because they're automatically bringing their family. Like,
Right.
when I figured that out, I mean, I remember my biggest growth was we added 100 people a day in 5 months. And then I spent the next 3 to 4 years at that volume. But I didn't put 1 millisecond outside of office hours in marketing, not
Right.
one penny, and not 1 millisecond outside of office hours, because we knew how to get people to agree that chiropractic is healthcare lifestyle. it's a generational pattern. You give them purpose, and no one in my family will ever go to an MD first again.
Right.
Unless it's trauma.
Right.
Which you create. That's a belief system. You got to create the belief system.
Oh, wait, shh, here she is. Here she is. Quiet, quiet. We weren't talking about you, Pam.
Oh
We were not talking about you. I want you to
yeah,
go
sure, right.
do
Hey,
that.
I'm gonna be rewatching this on YouTube. I'll find out.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but my Wi-Fi got cut off in the basement, so I just came running up here. My office is down there. Yeah. Anyway, so we were just saying, people charge, get paid,
Yes.
live the life.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
we pretty much just
where
wrapped
it's
up
at,
the
and
whole
that'll
thing.
change as time goes on, but you know, exactly right. And you can't, you know, you can't be a successful chiropractor if you're not making money, because then you don't have any place to take care of people. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's the part that I think a lot of docs, you know, and I had that poor complex when I started, you know, where you're like, geez, I want to adjust everyone. I want to help everybody. And then you're like, geez, you felt guilty charging them. And, you know, and yeah, it's tough, but you got to get through that and realize, hey, listen, I can't help a lot of people if I don't have a roof over my head and an electric bill paid. And my dad always said, put the interests of those people you serve ahead of your own. It doesn't mean I can't be served. It just means their interests are ahead of my own. And as long as their interests are served, and then I'm putting their interest ahead, I still could get paid. I could still make a great living. I could still make a lot of money. I just got to make sure their interests are ahead of mine. So.
Mm-hmm. That's a great way to look at it. I was thinking in a different direction that sometimes clients have a small view of what being successful means financially. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You have to grow into that. Like I was thinking about my son, he just graduated from undergraduate college and he's starting a job and he's talking about what he's going to earn, but he's still living as if he's broke. Like he just can't, it takes time to come into your future version of yourself, you know?
Yes.
So when you
Aren't
talk
we still doing that?
Are we still?
Aren't we
We're
still
all doing
coming
that.
into the future version of ourselves?
Yeah.
It's just our goals are a hell of a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing, right? The bigger picture. Well, I'm so glad that I get a chance to connect with you guys. I'd love to do it again and not lose my internet and not have to leave right away. But
Sure.
and I'd also like to get some of that figgy pudding, and my skin is feeling a little chapped.
I'll tell you what, Pam, you play your cards right, you might have a bottle of olive oil coming your way. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. I can't wait.
I sent Fred and his wife one, so.
Oh, I wonder, like, well, I just want to say, Joe, you really are one of my favorite Chiro Mafia podcast interviewers.
Isn't that amazing?
I really appreciate that.
And
really.
My parting thought is that I still am daydreaming about being Miss Nugget. What is that candy? What's the candy that's in Italy? Miss
Torrone?
Wait, say it again.
Torrone.
Jarboe. Yeah. I see myself with the sash, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the candy stuck in my dentures as I
It
pull
was
them
made
out.
by a famous pastry chef for the Queen of Italy for a special event in the town. So they still have a festival every last week of November, and I'm going to be there this year, in case you were wondering, because it's my favorite candy. I try to get diabetes every year at the Torrone Festival.
Exactly.
My pancreas is like, enough. Wait, one more piece, just one more piece. Come on.
Well, really, it's been so lovely to be with both of you.
So, yeah, I know you got a doc or an interview.
I know, I'm sorry. I organized this chiropractic group.
Oh, good. No, we knew, and it's great. We were just happy to have you for 30 minutes, Pam.
Feel the same. Okay, all my best to my
thank you.
brothers in the Chiro Mafia.
Thank God she's leaving. Oh, wait, I thought you were off. I'm so sorry.
I will find you.
Sorry.
I will find you.
So
Bye.
sorry. Bring it. Bring it.
Bye. Bye. She's awesome.
She is fantastic. Yeah. And tough to hurt. The challenge we have a lot of times, you know, is a lot of docs are either coaches or mentors. You know, I know we were talking about getting Paul Reed on, and you know, it's tough because a lot of times they're working with other docs and around that time as well. So so Pam, that's what Pam had, but I said, hey, get around anyways for 30, which was fantastic.
Well, I want to get back to what we were talking about. You know, it's And I think, you know, we have this theme all the time. You know, it's how effective is your communication? And that's, and again, here's what you and I focus on, right? It's like, look at your PVA, man. Math does not lie.
Yes.
It doesn't
Yes.
lie. So when you figure it out, officers per week divided by your average new patients per week, you know, and I remember the first time I did it, I was 19. Not I was 19 years old, I had a 19 PVA. And I'm like,
Yes.
there's no way this is 19, man. I'm teaching lifestyle, blah, blah. And I did it again, 19. I did it again, 19. I did it again. I do it 5 times. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, it's 19. Because I'm like, look, here's the map. And that's when I got my first coach.
Yes.
And then through 4 coaching groups, you know, we're focused on 5 injuries in 5 minutes. I don't need to name a name. You know, then that was a 40 PVA, right? Because that's an injury. Well, that's musculoskeletal. You know, I mean, I
Right.
went to DE, and then, you know, after going to DE for a bit, we became all health oriented. It's lifestyle, man. Bring your kids, blah, blah, blah. Don't get vaccinated, la, 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 right? And then I signed up with a coach, and I'm looking at their scripts going, 5 injuries? And then I remember I gave him a bunch of money and I said, I'm going to do your scripts exactly the way you do them so I can show you why it doesn't work. I'm like, I probably just shouldn't have signed up. But
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but you know how we are. We're like, fucker, I'll show you. I'll
Right.
do your
Right.
shit and I'll fuck up my practice. You know, and what I
Just
got was,
to prove you're wrong.
yeah. You know, so just being a general rebel, right? An Italian from
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
Philly. Gee, what a surprise. But
That's
so anyway, but what I did get was structure. I mean, at the time when I signed up, you know, I was already over 500 a week, and but I didn't know what a pre-consultation was.
right.
I never heard of the word, you know. So I learned structure. I mean, it was all just being fired up, man. That's where like, and it was totally chaotic, you
Right.
know. And but you know, it was like right on the edge of chaos. No, I was in chaos all the time, but that's what passion and conviction does.
Yes. Correct.
And
Yes.
so then once I learned, well, here's pre-consult, did the 5 injuries in 5 minutes, we went down 200 a week.
Yes.
So I went down to 350 on an injury base, you know, talking half about organs. And then I'm like, you know what? Screw this, man. And I put in a Sigafus tape, and Sigafus was great at keeping it simple. You got one problem, one bone in the neck, because he was talking about Atlas, right? And I remember I just simplified everything. Woof, just went right up through the roof
Correct.
again.
Correct. Yeah. I'll tell you a simple test, and I just did a video on it. And it's a quick way to audit your practice to see where your headspace is, what your procedures, your protocols, your future success, your stabilization of your practice. Just go in your schedule 3 months, 6 months, 9 months out and see how many people are scheduled. If you're seeing 50 in a day today, 100 in a day, whatever the number is, go out 9 months from now and see how many people are on the schedule. And if you got 100 and you're seeing 100, hey, you're doing things pretty good. But if you're seeing 100 or whatever, and you go out 9 months and you got 30, 20, you know, you're only as good as last month's new patients, and you are running a practice that's not retaining anyone. You're not running lifestyle. You're not changing the way people think. You are addressing short-term natural allopathic issues. Doesn't make you the devil, doesn't make you a bad person. But if you're looking to practice lifestyle, if you're looking to practice long-term, you know, your vocabulary, your procedure, your protocol, everything has to be aligned with that. You know, I always say sometimes docs we're setting up a divorce on date number 1. You know, we're using words like treatment. We're talking to them, like you're saying, about traumas. We're creating this conversation that's all about short-term thinking. Therefore, we're reinforcing what they already think. And then we're wondering why, you know, 3 months, 3 weeks, a month and a half, they're like, geez, they dropped out. They didn't get it. Well, you never gave it to them. You never gave it to them. How are
Well,
they
and
going to
here's
get something you never gave it to them?
well, and here's what you learn from management groups. Then, you know, I was stuck at a 40 PVA, which means I had to rebuild my practice every 3 months when they're on corrective care, right? Because 3 times a
Right.
week for 3 months, 40 visits. I mean, literally 36, but you guys get it. So, and then I got it, and then because management groups, people look at their x-rays. Well, how did I get like this? Well, you played rugby and then you got in the car accident, la, 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 la. And then it went to, and then I figured it out. It's like, well, just take care of your spine from the minute you were born. Well, I didn't know. Yeah, because your MD didn't tell you spine and nervous system is foundational life and health and body. The life is energy through the spinal cord. You didn't know that. Nobody told you. You didn't take care of it. Now you're 46 years old, and here's the damage that was done in 46 years.
Exactly.
So every patient only has one problem. You never took care of your spine and nervous system.
Exactly.
And then how do you transfer trust? Because none of your other healthcare providers told you that you were supposed to.
Exactly.
That's why you have asthma. That's why you have an autoimmune disease. That's why you have whatever you have.
Correct.
Because all those things end up going away. Fix the
Correct.
spine, they all go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
Your
lifestyle.
body's ability to heal, figure to regulate, allow the body to adapt, remove some level of interference, allow the body to start to function. I mean, if I put a kink in your fuel hose and you're trying, hey, listen, I might be able to get through my day. I might be able to get up and go through my day, but as soon as I start pushing it on the gas pedal on my car and I try to get over 40 miles an hour, she's gonna choke out. She's gonna struggle, right? Because she's not getting the energy, the fuel to function. And subluxation does the same thing. It allows you, hey, I can get up, I got a heartbeat, I can breathe, but how you think, how you feel, how you see, how you hear, how you taste, how you touch, how you function, how you coordinate your life, all of that's different with subluxation, and certainly improved upon greatly. Not to mention how your organs work. We were on a call today with some docs, or yesterday with docs on a coaching call, and I always think of it as the nervous system is like a 3D printer, like it's reconstituting your liver. Right? Because if I kill you and put you out in the yard without any physical trauma, I put chemical in you, you die. You're out in the front yard. You immediately decompose, right? So that tells me that, if we're moving towards that entropy, if we're moving towards disorganization always, right? Then the vital force is working against it. It's energy and force that works against the entropy, and it's reconstituting your liver. It's reconstructing your kidney every moment, your white blood cell, not to mention the coordination of all of those organs and all of those actions at any given second. So if I turn that down by 5% or 10%, I'm not going to go, oh my God, I got sciatica. I may not feel a thing. It's like turning the lights down in your house by 5%. You're not even going to notice it. But the accumulative effect, when I extrapolate that over 30 years from the day I'm born, that may lead to lung cancer, kidney, autoimmune, hearing problem, learning problem, not to mention where you are socially, how you interact with people emotionally. All of those things are affected because your nervous system's diminished, because your nervous system can't communicate because you're subluxated. And if we look at it that way, it's profound.
I mean, I got 8 million things going through my mind as you're going through this. One, every patient only has one problem. You never took care of your spine and nervous system. And once people hear that, family referrals are automatic, because what do they immediately think of? Holy shit, my 16-year-old kid has asthma.
Right. Exactly.
God, his allergies are getting worse. Now he has digestive problems. So once they get that, and then what else do they get? Health is energy. And this is vocabulary is important, because the word nerve is important, but you can watch TV and hear the word nerve and have a drug as a solution. And that's where we talked about, hey, you got a dead person. Dead people have nerves. But what's the difference between a dead person and a live person with nerves? Energy. That's what you have to talk about. And then when you're looking at the regenerative process, that was something I used to teach in the workshop, right? Your organs turn over about 90 days, right? So what drives that regenerative process? I wouldn't say the nerves, I would say energy. Energy in the nervous system drives that.
Vital energy, intelligent vital force. It's not just energy, it's intelligent energy.
Well,
It's
right.
got energy with an objective. It's got energy with an intention. It's energy that has intention. It's force with consciousness that directs itself through the body. That's what's happening.
Right. So then the powerful question, and you're great. Let me ask you a question. So this is your thing, right? Is that's the Joe Borio preface to everything he's about to say, which is awesome. But then in a workshop or with a patient, I would say, well, now that you know that, who do you want to be 3 months from
Right.
today? Who do
Right.
you want to be 6 months from today? You know, you can be a younger, healthier, stronger, more intelligent
Yeah.
person than you are in 3 months than you are today. You can literally reverse the aging process.
Correct.
So,
Yes, and we know that. I mean, there's evidence on that with telomere structures, with reestablishment of cervical curve, with long-term chiropractic care. When we talk about serum thiol levels, which a Christopher Kent study, which showed that serum thiol levels increased with, it had to be long-term care. People had to be under care for a minimum of a year. They had to be seen at least at a minimum every other week over a long period of time. The people that were under long-term care had better results. When you look at the Sean Hannon review, every part of the body improved when they did all different types of measurements. And what was interesting when they did the wellness study, they did 3 years of research on people getting adjusted, and they never stopped getting better. So they may have had some of the 20 components they measured plateaued, but every single person in the study, it was a 3,000 individual study, kept getting better 3 years into the study.
wow, that's amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
So for those people, this is really what Chiro Mafia is about, man. It's about not just the philosophy and the principle and having great guests and giving you different perspectives, but everybody we have on here understands lifestyle and has higher PVAs.
Correct.
You know, that's it, man. I mean, that is the one number that is telling you how effective you are at chiropractic healthcare lifestyle.
Yes.
And that's there's a difference between healthcare and healthcare lifestyle, right? Healthcare is you got a problem, you go to a doctor, you fix it, you quit going. That's not chiropractic, that's not lifestyle. It's chiropractic healthcare lifestyle. That's very, very different. So, hey, real quick on I think it's the second week in August, we're doing a 5-day challenge. And that's all about growing your PVA. Now, we talked about this on one of the previous Chiro Mafia podcasts. Man, how do you gain freedom from your office? Have an 80 or 100 PVA, because now they're coming for themselves. They're not coming from you. That's a different person. So we're going to go through 5 days, and we're going to give you basic tools like how do you master your practice in 5 days? And that's going to be the 5-day challenge that we have. It's free. You can DM me on Facebook. We'll send you the landing page. Get the Back to Health book. It's free on Elite Coaching LLC. We'll get your email, and we'll send you the landing page. I would definitely get on that event.
Yeah. Awesome. I would too. I will.
Cool, man. We
Yeah.
should have you as a guest
We got
speaker on
Italy
there.
happening tomorrow. We got 20 people coming to the Borio Villa here, which I'm at right now. I'm actually not in Rome. I know some of you guys thought I was in Rome, but I'm not. And we're in Vico del Gargano, which is in Puglia. It's right above the heel. And I bought a villa out here about almost 20 years ago, and it's 20 years ago. It's fully restored. And yeah, so we have every few years we have one of the masterminds out here. So we got 20 people coming out, and we do a meet and greet Thursday night. We do transformative transformation in the morning. Breath work, yoga, along with some private time with Dr. Joe, and really getting in some deep areas of transformation and growth. And then the rest of the afternoon is we got a pizza cooking class, we've got wine tours, we've got eating in the castle. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So we're really excited.
Oh, that's so awesome, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, have a great time.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be back on Mafia in 2 weeks, and love you guys. And
Love you too.
hey, we'll look forward to the pictures on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll post them.
Right
Talk
on.
to you soon, Fred. Talk to you guys soon, man. Have a good
All
one.
right. Peace. Love you guys.
Well, make
Peace.
sure you share and subscribe. Share and subscribe. Fred.
Yeah,
Come on.
man. Come on.
What the
Let's
hell?
go. We're creating a movement.
That's right. Share and subscribe.
There you go. Peace.
Bye.